Yo, what's up? Welcome back in my studio. I'm Jay Hardway. Welcome back to Studio Time. Today I'm explaining Stardust. I saw it a lot in the comments, so yeah, it's about time I start explaining how I made it. And this is the project. It's pretty big, and it was a lot of hours, but so yeah, let's just start explaining it. I'm going to start with the break. And as you know, the break starts like this. And as you can see here, it's a wave sample. So I have to go to another project, which I've lined up, where I came up with the melody, and it sounds like this. So you have the notes, which is actually an arpeggiator. So that's if you play one note, that's what happens. But I just use like very short notes, and that's how I use that. Gotta check what's on there. A reverb that's not on, so it's just the standard preset actually, playing those notes. So that and the chords. These are the chords made with Synthmaster. Very simple sound with a filter on it. And that's what I started with. So I thought, hey, these notes are cool. What if I try to slow it down in the break? It creates a nice moment, maybe for my live shows. And so that's what I did. How I did that was I clicked the BPM and pressed Create Automation Clip, and you see it here. And it's actually very simple. I just automated the entire project tempo to just only sample this. Just to speed up. So I bounced this as a wave file and I took it into the other project. And that's this project. So once it speeds up, you hear this. I love this project. It's been a while since I've opened this, of course. There's an organ coming underneath as well. Where is the oh wait, there it is. Very cool organ with some reverb on it. Also the short notes. And the chords. Same chords as I showed you before, but now there's more underneath this bass. And I think, yeah, the filter of this is moving up in the song. So normally it sounds like this. I just took out a little bit of the low frequencies, and that's under there. A basic sine bass from Nexus. The chords again, but in another instrument. Two instruments actually, I'll show you which. This one is really cool, it's by Synthmaster as well. And without the filter it sounds really big. some reverb on it, stereo shaper. And yeah, it just sounds so cool, and now it's filtered in the break. And with the automation clip, the filter goes up. So that one and this one, silent, and yeah, with some EQ lows out of it and some more low out of it. So that's what you get, and then you put those together, and so this one is coming up in the break slowly. So yeah, really cool. And then this one. It's like a really low bass string, and it's a real actual sampled bass string, so it really gives it a live feeling, so that it sounds already really big here. So yeah, you have already the really full energy. There's this effect, which I'm gonna just show you separately. I was playing around with samples and I've lost the project where I made this, but it sounds like kind of Inception a little bit. It has the feeling of Inception. So this project is also called Interception because it's like a combination of Inception and Interstellar. I was really inspired by it. That's why I have the organs in it. And this sound. Reminded me of Inception, and it just sounds so cool in this track. Like it really fills up the whole track. It sounds really big and wide. That's why I really love it. Then we go on. There's more elements added. I'll show you which. It's a synth master again. Really cool sound as well. Without effect, it sounds like this. Already really cool, like it's almost like it's an analog synth. So I added reverb, took out the low frequencies, put it stereo. This time with stereo enhancer. So yeah, sausage fattener. EQ like this. Kickstart for the sidechain, which isn't on yet, as you can see here, and a filter which isn't on yet as well. I think I use it later, but I'm not sure. And it plays these notes. So yeah, it's like kind of based on the chords, but also some notes extra. Then this one, which is coming up. Sounds like this. There's distortion on it with fast dist, some EQ to take out low frequencies, a filter which is still, as you can hear. So that's also coming up in the break, also to build up excitement. Then there's sidechain and gross beat with this preset 1 to 4 bit BT gate, and it's making it sound like this. So really cool effect. I use it sometimes, and let me check so I don't forget. Yeah, that's it. That's the second part. So yeah. like it really opened up, so all the filters, all the low pass filters went off, and there's an organ. Strings who play the notes. Yeah, and then so yeah, everything's like opened up, so you can, and there's a clap. And another clap. If it's working, yes. And then you have like a really really big sound. And then I used this. I'm going to show you it again because here it's the same effect I used before. Now there's another melody with it. Yeah, it sounds really fat. So that's coming in here. Let's dive into the drop, which is, it took me a long time to get it right. I had a lot of versions, and this is the end result. So, the drop. Where to start? There's a lot in it. I'm gonna start with the drums. So that's this. That's almost all the drums. So that's the drums. There's a kick. Kick I made before, got before, or edited, and well, it sounds really nice. There's actually EQ on it to a little bit boost the highs of the kick. And this is only in the beginning activated, this EQ, so that's why it's not activated now. There's a clap like from a loop, but I only use the first, like the really like small little, as you can hear. There's these drums. It's like some percussion I found, and I use it here to based on the rhythm I made with the melody. So here's some white noise, which is playing also with the melody. So yeah, that's the drums of the drop. And then let's go to the synths of the drop, which are really cool. I did everything in 2 patterns, or a couple, so it's all together, it's one big mess. But it works, so here we go. There's 2 things playing here, it's the bass and the chords. I'll show you the bass now. So there's like a really aggressive bass, and it's Inspire actually. And what is on there, I'm gonna show you now. Sound Goodizer. That's actually it. Which makes it a little bit more edgy and distorted. And the sub bass, Nexus Basic Science sub bass. The sub bass has EQ, where I take out the lows. I did that because I use more bass, which I'll show you later. Stereo shaper. I don't know why that's on there, but it's... I hope I put it to mid. I'll probably put it to mid. Because it's a sub bass. You can also do it with this button, but I decided not to. I take out more lows, I take out another frequency here to not let it interfere too much with the other bass I use, which I shall show you now, because that's sub kicks. And that's pretty cool. You can hardly hear it, but it's sub kicks. Sounds really ugly, but it's playing in a note of the bass line, on not every note, but as you can see. And that's why I took out bass frequencies of the other one. So yeah, then there's more sounds here, because as you can hear, I have another bass which is playing with legato on, so you can press one note, and if you press another note it will skip to that note. So only this. And another lead with silent. It's just the same thing, so if you play one note, it will slide to the other note. And what's on here is a lot of effects, you can hear it as well. I'm gonna switch these off and turn them on one by one. It would sound like this, but I made it sound like this with EQ. That's already a big difference. Sausage fattener. Reverb, stereo enhancer, so it's like really on the sides. Kickstart for sidechain because it's in the drop playing, of course. EQ, it takes out the low frequencies. Balance, which I don't use, it's for volume, but I'm not using it. And more EQ. Makes it sound like that and like this. And together with the other bass note. Together with the whole bass. Together with the drums. As you can hear, the bass is like doing a tape stop effect. I triggered that here. There's this bass, and it has this one on it, deep blue tape stop, and slowdown is set to 17, and I create an automation clip of the trigger. I work with it like this. So if you want to trigger it, you just make the automation clip. I wanted to trigger it at this point, so it's actually very simple, but it makes for a cool effect. I did, however, as you can see here, use a bass note 1 octave higher, and because it goes down, so it sounds better. So then I add some chords with this one. Let me turn these off. Yes, what's on there? That's how it sounds like right now. I add some EQ, a stereo shaper, and reverb, and a gross beat. Now I used the gross beat for sidechain in this time, not the kickstart. So that's how you get this. Hey, there's the melody again, which is in this pattern. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the melody. I'm deleting some of the channels because I'm going to switch some of these off, and if I forget that they were supposed to be switched off, I switch them on and the whole project becomes even more a mess. So that's why I do that. Well, as you can see, I used a couple of instruments here. It's like it's the wizard plug actually, with a shitload of effects on it. EQ, sausage fattener, trance. Oh, this isn't working. I used to have the waves plug-in, but it's not on here right now. I don't know why, I lost the USB. But what it did was it made the attack harder of the synth. So that was supposed to be on here, but it's not right now, so it's not loaded as well. As you can see, Trans X White Stereo, that's what it's called. Reverb, more EQ, more reverb, and a kickstart for the sidechain. So, and another one just to give an extra push to the first one on the same channel. Yeah. And then we have this synth. It's actually the same as I showed you before, right? Then we have this synth, which plays this melody. There's a bunch of shit on here as well. EQ, sausage fattener, reverb. Yeah, and more EQ. That's it, but it already sounds cool without even the effects on. And I love how it sounds really dirty. Like it has some white noise on it, and this part, and it's very light, but it gives it really a like dirty feel. Really cool. Then we have this one. I'm gonna take this separately. Which is playing also part of the melody, which is quite complicated, but I'll come to that later. Here, the same. It's from a one-shot synth, and by using this button I made a loop. Like normally it sounds like this, but when you engage this button, the note will be one long note. You can play it for as long as you want. So with a bunch of effects on it, that's how it normally sounds. Now it sounds like this. So yeah, the effects make quite a big difference. Reverb. Wait, let me just. The project is a mess. So as you can see, I cleaned up a little bit. It's a mess, the project. So so the effects make a big difference here. And I'm just gonna delete this one before I get. Let's look at it one by one. reverb is on, EQ, like this, sausage fattener. That's like the big thing on this channel. As you can hear. Yeah, does everything amazing. The Transix wide again, which I don't have anymore, or not here. EQ, like this. Reverb, more reverb. And sidechain, and so that's that. Then there's a Nexus. Very simple saw lead dance score, which is playing together with the melody you heard before. But I turned it off, so. Together you get this. Then there's more, because as you can hear, this is not everything. If I switch this off, yes, you can hear the melody, but there's something missing from the drop, and that's this part. I'm going to take that separately so you can hear why and how I've done this. This is how it sounds. And normally it would sound like this. It's actually from an older version of the melody. I made this in the Wake Up, the tutorial from Wake Up. Go check that out. I made it with the same lead, made that melody, and then I made it in an older version. But then I chopped it up to make it work with the new melody, and then I stop it sometimes because if you keep the echo, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now it feels like it's stopping, and it's a really cool effect. And I have a volume envelope here for this melody to not have every note long, because there's a lot of reverb on the note and I don't want it. I want it to sound choppy, so that's why I have these little automation clips here. So it sounds more like tut instead of like really long notes. That's actually, I think, I talked about everything about the drop. At least showed you what's in it. So you can see how I did it, but the second, you can also still be questioned, how do you come up with this? The thing is, this is like a version, I don't know, like I made so many versions of the drop. Like if you look at these patterns, here's one, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, all different melodies, here's another one. And yeah, they all sound like... I tried that, I tried... really different things, but what I knew was I wanted to do something with more instruments. So you have the pluck sound, and then you get the different synth, and then another different synth, and that's what I kept on working, kept on making versions, and I made really shitty versions, and I just kept on working on it until I had it the way it needed to sound, the way it would work in the clubs, and the way it just sounded nice to anyone who would hear it for the first time. And it took some time, but yeah. And the second part is actually just there's a couple hi-hats. It's pretty fun to show. The melody makes a little adjustment, but it's all the same basis. Pretty cool with this without, and then with the hi-hats. As you can hear, it's all based on the melody. So everything is built around the melody. So that's why it took a long time, and that's why, yeah. But it's important because there's a certain groove in it, and you want to keep that groove, and you want to keep the sound flowing, and yeah, I think it worked. The third part of the drop is where the melody comes back of the break. So it's actually without the melody it would sound like this. It's what I showed you before with a slight adjustment, a little bit less complicated, and so it fits this melody as well. And here's the fill like in between the drop. It's actually from a sample pack, I'm not sure which one, but I thought, hey, the beginning is the same key and I need a cool fill, and I just messed around and it worked, so. So that sounds really cool. What's also really cool about it is that there's reverb on it. Yeah, there's automation with the reverb, and there we go. Where is the clip? Here you see the automation for, is that the right one? Yes. Here you see the automation for the reverb, where it goes on. And because the filter is underneath, it's under the reverb as well in the mixer. As you can see here, the reverb is here, the filter is here, so the filter affects the reverb as well. So if you close the filter, you cannot hear the reverb until you open it again, because it's still going. So that's why this right here is really cool, because here it's closing and you hear nothing, and then right before the drop comes in, you hear the reverb again. It sounds like a filter opening, and that's yeah, small detail, but a really cool effect in this transition. So that second break, I have another wave file. Where it does the opposite. I'm going to show you I have to open the project, a different project. The magic of video. It's already loaded at once with one clap. So this is the melody. And here you can see the automation clip of the tempo, and it sounds like this. So as you can see, the last couple notes, I'm not changing the tempo, it's actually just manually drawn in the notes. Where are you? Here, like this. And you're thinking, I can hear you think from the other side of the camera, Why is this an ARP, but this isn't? Because I switched it off. I can turn it back on or turn it off. So yeah, that's it. So that's that. Then I have this breakbeat, which I made before from existing breakbeats, but then I added it, so it sounds like this. And a little bit of EQ. So that's what's filtered in here together with chords. And these are here. Chords I showed you before as well. And now this is in the first break as well, but now you can hear the filter is right away opened from this plugin. So you get some of the elements come back again, it becomes bigger after that again. And then we go back to the build-up actually. And then back to the second drop, which is, yeah, it's the same as the first drop. So that is Stardust, the break and drop. Let's just go to the build-ups real quick. Pretty basic stuff, but I really like this sound. It reminds me of something X1 Grosso made, I'm not sure, but it just sounded. And then it goes faster and I pitch it up just with note fine pitch. So you can hear that really well under here. Some snares, these one are from the Cashmere sample bank, first one, and a sweep of Cashmere, another sweep of Cashmere. It's my own sweep this time. Yeah, I mean build-ups for me are pretty, yeah, how do you say, like this also in there by the way. I mean, build-ups are not the most fun to make. It's always the last thing I do. So yeah, it's also a thing that where I don't think too difficult. I just want a nice build-up that builds up the energy in the right way. And goes for this one. And here we have a little bit different the second time because we have like a pre-build-up where I play the notes. With a music box. And a music box that plays the chords. Which actually sounds really, really cool. That sound is already under there. More music box. I just added the same pattern again. Then you go into the build-up. So then it's kind of the same as the first build-up, and yeah, it goes directly into the drop with a fill that is okay. Yeah, it's quite. Yeah, quite standard. So that's the build-ups. Then I have the intro. So you have this. Just playing that rhythm. It's all same elements as I used in the drop, because I made the drop before I made the intro. That way you can use elements from the drop in your intros. I use this sound as well, like, and then just play it around with the elements. So I get this. That organ, oh man, it's everything. Here we go, like, sounds like that first, and it's just building up here. And here it's, and I also edit the volume with an automation clip, so this last couple notes sounds really like a full organ. I take off the kickstart, the sidechain, so yeah, it sounds so huge. And that's how you go into the break. So yeah, that's the intro and the outro. Kind of the same. So let me zoom out. This is how big the project looks like. Pretty big. I used a lot of plugins and a lot of samples, as you can see. Took a lot of time. I'm really happy with the result. I hope you are too. That was Stardust. Thanks for watching. If I went too fast, it might have been because I already explained a lot of stuff in the other videos, so make sure to check them as well. And you can always leave a comment. I read every comment, and leave me suggestions for the next episode as well. And I'll be back with studio time. Bye bye.